Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, my name's Colin Fry, and welcome to The Sixth Sense. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to start off straight away, because I feel as though I've got my first link. Sir, I'd like to come up to you, please. Yes, you, sir. In my mind's eye, I have standing next to you a gentleman, and I would have to say he's almost like a mirror image of you. I'm not talking about twins, but what I do feel I'm talking about is a gentleman that if we took him in his earthly life back to a similar age to you are now, you'd have to take a double take. It's almost as if I'm looking at two of you.
Yes. This
gentleman has been on at me for about 15 minutes now, all right, because he's wanting to get through to you. I can't get the relationship worked out, but what he keeps putting in my mind is, it's all right, pal. And he means that in two ways. He means it's all right over the other side of life, because he's quite happy, but it's all right here as well. Sir, I want to take you back 2 years. Our friend here is telling me that 2 years ago, he knows that life crashed for you.
Yeah.
And it was at that point in your life that consciously, subconsciously, in the spirit, you had to make a decision whether to stay here or to let yourself pass.
Yes.
You understand that? Right. He's awfully glad that you decided to stay this side of life, because he's saying, to be quite honest, pal, there's not room for two of us over here at the moment. All right? Because I'm not going to say you've got an ego, sir, but what I am going to say is this. That when the two of you were together on this side of life, it was a competition to see who would always be able to get the upper hand. You understand?
Yes.
Right, OK. It was like whatever one of you did, the other one always tried to do something a bit better.
Yes.
I still can't get the relationship worked out, because he keeps calling you pal. It's as if whatever the relationship was, you were incredibly close.
My father.
Right, OK. You were more than just father and son. It was almost like you were his best friend and he was your best friend.
Yes.
He's putting August in my mind, and it only means something that I understand you and he would understand. Would you understand it was the August that he first found out there was something wrong?
Yes, I think it was August.
And I get the feeling from Dad that what he's actually showing me was that when he first knew that there was something not quite right with him, he only told you.
Yes.
I believe he came to you in the August and said, look, son, there's something not quite right. And for a while it was just between you and him. What does your grandfather mean when he says no more tequila?
I don't know, I used to enjoy a bit of a drink at a family party when I was underage, didn't I?
Did someone give you tequila once?
Yeah, my auntie, dad's sister.
Didn't have a very good effect on you, did it?
No.
I don't know whether Granddad was still this side of life or not, but he saw it. Whether he was here or past, he saw it.
No, he was here. I'm sure he was here.
He's beginning to draw away from me.
Okay.
But he wants to say to you, just remember what he said. Everything is all right. His side and this side. I'm happy to leave your Dad's love with you.
Thank you. When you sit at home, watch it on the television, it's totally different, and you think, well, you don't believe it. But when you get in the audience, and it's fired at you, like Colin fired it at me this afternoon, you think, wow, it's just unbelievable.
You were incredibly close. You were his best friend, and he was your best friend.
Yes. My father was a good man. We used to get on really well together, and, you know, quite a nice relationship we had. And I'm afraid he just got taken away from me, basically, and that was it.
And it was the August that he first found out there was something wrong.
Yes.
He only told you.
Yes. It was August when that my father come to me and told me that he was ill, and he confided in me, and he didn't want to worry my mother. So we left it at that, and I was, you know, told not to say anything, basically.
Our friend here is telling me that 2 years ago, he knows that life crashed for you.
it was a bit longer than 2 years. I had a heart attack, basically. It just frightened me, basically. Look at my family, were young, you know. I've got grandchildren, and do I lose them?
Everything is all right. His side and this side.
I feel a lot closer to my father because I thought I'd lost him, but obviously he wanted to talk to me, and he made a point of coming through first, and I think he was trying to rush Colin a bit because the way he come through, and yeah, I'm very pleased indeed.
Such an obvious name, probably the most common names in this country. Why am I getting the name Smith?
It's me, yeah, I'm Smith.
You're Smith.
Yeah, so am I.
Don't do this to me. Why have I been shown Ibiza?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. The music, probably.
You're into the music?
Yeah, very much, yeah.
Right, OK. I don't always understand why they show me things. I just give them, like, words and I have to say them. All right. Your granddad's spirit side?
No. My nan.
Your nan. Who's the gentleman, then, that stands by your nan?
It could be her dad or...
Your great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Would you understand that even that when your nan passed over, they knew that she was getting unwell, but when she went much quicker than anybody expected?
Yeah.
Once she'd been told, she gave up. She didn't want to struggle through it.
Right.
She just gave up. She's a bit irritated. They may not understand this side of life, but on that side of life, as far as your grandmother's concerned, you can do no wrong. And whatever you want to do with your life, that's all right with her.
Right, OK.
All right?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
No more fights. Don't fight. There's no point in fighting. You will not win. And learn to control your temper a little bit. All right? Your grandmother understands what it means to be disowned by the family. Because when she was not a lot older than you, the same thing happened to her.
Right.
You can understand that?
Yeah.
All right, because I believe she told you at one time that the family cut her out because, in their opinion,
Well, I was
she'd
always
done
her
something.
favourite, I think.
Yeah, because she'd done something that the family didn't approve of. She knows that for what you've decided you want for your life, you've done something the family don't approve of. She doesn't care. As far as she's concerned, that's all right with her. You've got to learn to clean the bath.
Clean the bath?
Because you always leave it for someone else to do. Is that right? Do you understand? Do you understand that?
Yeah, yeah.
There was two things that your grand's pet hates. She hated dirty baths and dirty sinks. She's saying, I watch you. You need to learn to clean the bath. I'm going to leave Gran's love with you. She needs you to know she is always with you.
Right.
She's always with you, and you do whatever you want with your life. As far as she's concerned, it's OK. But control that temper of yours.
OK, thank you.
All right, I'll leave Granny's love with you. All right.
My nan was the most, you know, everyone says that about their family, but she was the most wonderful person in the world to me, you know, and I've always got a special place for her in my heart, you know, always, you know, I've never cried for her when she died because I don't believe that she's ever left me.
Your grandmother understands what it means to be disowned by the family.
I've always had a difficult relationship with my mum, and in my teenage years, well, from about 10, I had a very difficult time. I left the family home and sort of went my own way from a young age, and, you know, I found that hard.
As far as your grandmother's concerned, you can do no wrong.
My nan always made me feel safe. She always was just there, you know. I'd always sit next to her on the sofa and cuddle up to her, and she always gave me a lot of love, which I think she knew that I wasn't getting. She was, if I could have chosen to have a mum, I would have chosen my nan as my mum.
And learn to control your temper a little bit. All right?
I've had a lot of fights with my partner, and, you know, we have a good relationship, but because of my temper, we do tend to fight a lot. and the message was no more fighting. So.
You've got to learn to clean the bath.
I've got a thing about, as well, baths and sinks. I mean, I do. I've just got a new flat, and I'm really, really house proud. I'm a bit anal, actually, to be honest. And but I think I know what she's talking about. It's like when I was younger, I used to just leave it. I just used to have a bath and leave it. And in my other house as well, I lived before, I used to do the same because no one else used to clean out the bath. So I just used to clean it out when I wanted to use it, and then just leave it for someone else to do. So I think that's what she was trying to get at there.
I'm going to leave Gran's love with you. She needs you to know she is always with you.
The reason why I wanted to get a message from my nan is because when I was young, I went through something that was quite bad, and I have always wondered how my nan would feel about that, and whether she would still love me and still care for me like she used to. And I've always wondered, and that's why I came here today, is to hear that. And now I've heard that, I'm the happiest man alive, and I can get on with my life and move on from here.
I want a connection to a young man who passed because of an incident with water.
We have a young friend that went over a cliff. Apparently the brakes on the truck failed.
I'm sorry, it doesn't feel right. Unless the name James or Jamie means anything to you. Yes, love?
Son called James.
You have a son? You have a son called James. Our side or
Yeah.
past? Our side.
Yeah,
This side of life.
physically.
There was an incident with water.
Yeah.
This is a very, very strange one, my love. Your son is still this side of life. I need you to come down the front with me, my love. I need to talk to you. All right. Come and join me. See what we can do. Right, my love. Your son is Jamie?
James.
James. Your son was involved in an incident involving water. All right? And I know that he's still physically this side of life. But he has no communication with you. He cannot communicate. I have a gentleman with me who is showing me that he connects to you, and his initial was also J.
His grandfather was called James.
This is probably one of the most difficult messages I've ever had to give, because what I have to say to you, many people would misunderstand and not take in the right way. And yet I feel, from what your grandfather is showing me, this is what you want to hear. Your grandfather wants you to know that even though your son is still physically this side of life, the vast amount of his consciousness is with his grandfather. You have said this is no life. Your grandfather wants you to know that your son's mind lives in the spirit world. And until such time as it's desired is that it's time for the body to stop, your grandfather needs you to know that your son is not a vegetable, because his mind and his spirit live in the world of spirit. Do not believe he does not hear you, because he does. I get the feeling that I'm being told to say to you, let go of the resentment. Let go of the anger. And for your son's sake, stop ruining your own life. Can you understand that? You have another son? You're a good mum. but your other son needs you. Give yourself to your other son, because he needs his mum at the moment. Okay? What's the home video you keep looking at?
Well, there's a mixture at the moment. My husband's joined a band.
But you're looking at home videos. Why am I getting this reference? It's a musical instrument that he's playing.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just getting this thing. Thank God it's not singing.
Yeah.
All right. Because he can't sing, can he?
Not really.
No. Right. Been taking aftershave into your son?
Well, we try it, but he doesn't particularly like it, and he can't breathe it in. So, but everybody else wears it.
I'm just being told that there's some knowledge of the fact that you've been dousing him with aftershave.
Well, we try to.
All right, okay. I always have to be very careful when I give a message like this. Your son may or may not reconnect with his body, but all the time he is not connected to his body. His consciousness is in the world of spirit, and your grandfather needs you to know that until he makes that decision, he's looking after him. It's been a tough message to give, because that line between someone being here and someone passed over is always a difficult one. But I was given the feeling that this is what you needed to hear.
It is.
Yeah? Okay. It'll be okay. Thank you for coming up and joining me.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And quite honestly, I expected it to be my other son that had died when he was 2. So, for it to be James, who's still physically living, just knocked me for 6, because everybody says, you can't communicate with a living, passed over, semi-passed over spirit. James was struck by lightning 6 years ago in June. He was working part-time after school, and we just had a phone call to say there'd been an accident. And when Colin said about the water, which I presumed he was talking about someone else and a drowning, he was actually referring to, more or less instantaneously after the strike of lightning, there was torrential rain, and there was a lot of flooding, instant flooding.
Your son is not a vegetable, because his mind and his spirit live in the world of spirit.
James was left with 80% brain damage, so he can't communicate verbally, he can't move physically. I can communicate with him, and a lot of the carers that look after him can communicate with him on an eye-to-eye level.
Your son may or may not reconnect with his body, but all the time he is not connected to his body. His consciousness is in the world of spirit.
I just needed to know that he's basically looking on himself, and it's not really in his control. It's like everybody, when your time's up, your time's up. We don't have a say, that's it. But James is still contemplating with himself, and he's looking down on himself that he's going to find the right time to leave.
Let go of the resentment. Let go of the anger.
I still do have quite a few moments of resentment, whether it's to the people that were also behind the accident, for James for being there at that time, for me not being in the right place at the right time. You can just go over and over it, but the only thing that I can get out of that is turning it into something positive, that for the 6 years that we've been going through this, the people that I've met, the people that I might have changed their lives, James has changed their lives, even the people that work with him, their lives have been changed.
You're a good mum, but your other son needs you.
Cal, to me, is the one that's suffering emotionally, and he doesn't show it, and he is. And I haven't had the time or the energy I've just expected him to grow up and get on with life. You've got all your faculties, get out there and get on with life. But I hadn't realised until maybe a few days ago that I've missed a lot of his time and he's missed a lot of my time. It's me as a mum he needs, but he hasn't been able to have that because James is the focal point, the living and breathing point of the whole family.
What's the home video you keep looking at?
When we've been out doing small gigs, we've taped it and I've come home and shown him the tapes, and he winces, whether it's because he can't deal with the noise of the music or whether it's purely cringing because it's, oh my God, you know, that's me dad on there, and I don't, you know, it's not really James's scene.
But I was given the feeling that this is what you needed to hear.
2 hours ago I was pretty devastated, but now, I don't know, I just have this inner karma now, knowing that James has been able to communicate, and peace of mind knowing that he spiritually is on another level.
Thank you for joining me. My name's Colin Fry. You've been watching The Sixth Sense. Goodbye.
To be quite honest with you, I think I was a sceptic moment, and I wasn't sure what to expect this afternoon, to be quite honest with you. You know, but it's just a buzz, I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.